Hey guys, 4Plus here and welcome to my top lane Zac guide. In my opinion, Zac's one of the coolest champion designs Riot have ever made, and to be honest I'm kinda pissed that after he received a nerf to his ultimate, everyone stopped playing him. Zac is still an insane initiator, disruptor, and most of all outputs a stupid amount of damage to say that he's supposed to be a tank. So with all that said, drop all your assumptions about this champion and go into this guide with a fresh mindset. Although Zac works in the jungle, I personally believe he's stronger in top lane thanks to his dominant ability set and his scaling with itemization. He has some nice poke, can scrap it out in an elongated fight, and provide some CC and burst for gank attempts. Get used to catching his blobs, generated from his passive, and your health pool will keep topped up. Zac has a nice slow and a stretching strike, and two forms of hard crowd control which are both unaffected by tenacity or any cleanse effects. So in a sense he has two AoE true crowd controls, which is super duper strong and really annoying to deal with. As for Zac's damage, all he needs is magic penetration, as his unstable matter ability is the bomb. This ability at max rank deals a base magic damage of 100 on top of 8% of the enemy's max health. It's AoE, spammable, and the cooldown is lowered upon picking up your blobs. Thus you can easily rotate this ability in a teamfight and deal an absurd amount of damage. So for the early game you should aim to just farm up. Zac's abilities are all great for last hitting as you don't have a mana pool, so feel free to spam them as long as you're safe to keep collecting your blobs. It's also important to spam those abilities so that you can keep healing yourself, as your blobs will always refund equal to or more health than the ability cost to cast. Never be afraid to fight your opponent upon reaching level 4 or so, as Zac outputs a nice chunk of damage if given the time to rotate his unstable matter casts. Remember that if your opponent's CC is on cooldown, your elastic slingshot can be used as a free flash when ganked, and equally respect that Zac is a cooldown based champion. So if your stretching strike and unstable matter are on cooldown, then don't go for that one-on-one fight. As mid game begins, Zac can start teamfighting and looking for picks around the map. It's very easy to catch a mid laner off guard with elastic slingshot, and equally teleporting to the bottom side of the map can have a huge impact. He's really good for those early dragon fights, as not only does he have a team fighting kit, his passive can also give your team tempo. In the sense that if you trade kills, with Zac dying for the enemy jungler, however he manages to recover because of his passive, you can now use that numbers advantage to take the dragon. Removing minion waves will also be super easy by just spamming your AoE abilities, so keep that gold income flowing and get tankier and tankier. Upon reaching the late game, you're going to be super beefy with huge defensive stats, yet as I mentioned earlier, constantly shredding your opponent's health. So what do your opponents do in this scenario? If they ignore you, then you slap them about a bit and suddenly everyone's on half of their health points. Equally, if they try to kill you, then not only are you soaking damage for your team, but your carries can free cast or free auto attack. And finally, now you've ramped up your elastic slingshot, your effective range of initiating has just become crazy. In a way, compare it to the pressure of a Fiddlesticks ultimate, but with almost 3 times the range. Fly from China into your opponent's face and catch them by surprise. So 3 quick tips for playing Zac. First of all, understand that he's rather unique in his tanking style. It's not like Rammus or Malphite where you get insane defensive stats and your abilities also generate more defensive stats. Instead he is a health tank. This means that rotating your cell division passive is also core to how you tank. Let's say you manage to pick up 7 blobs in a teamfight, then you're tanking correctly. Obviously it's not always that simple, as sometimes the blobs will just avoid you and get squished, but just keep it in mind that picking them up is very important. Also on that note, positioning as Zac is crucial when compared to other tanks. You need to track the following: how many opponents will be caught in all 4 of your AoE abilities, on top of being able to grab your blobs without leaving a teamfight. Your blobs do have a limited range of you, and realistically you want to have them land close to the action. If you land your abilities on multiple people while picking up the majority of your blobs, you're doing it right. And finally as Zac, understand that you don't always have to dive in, and instead you can just protect your backline. He's amazing at peeling, and like I said he has 2 unstoppable CCs on top of 2 ways to slow a target, and furthermore he can shred tanks. So that Renekton who just dived your AD carry is extremely easy to peel and kill. Saving your elastic slingshot to late engage can be a smart idea if the enemy comp looks dive heavy. That concludes my Zac guide. In the end slate graphic you can see my suggestions for when you play Zac, but obviously feel free to implement your own playstyle into your setup. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts and subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in my next video.